Well, hi, how are you? You looked at the title? It says Actors of Plastic. The Actors of Plastic. Ay nako, buhay. So many people don't like to be accused or labeled as plastic, but they are. Just look at everybody that's contradicting what they did 2016. If y'all would follow me, and even before the election, when you rendered your decision to elect Ding Dong, I warned y'all. I've been knowing that he's not like his father. It's it should be common knowledge. Now it is, for those that care. I mean, you had a country that was ready for leadership and fine tuning and perfection, good economics, no battle stand with the militaristic values of the Western powers that be over you. Now your ROTC, your young men and women are brandishing a American flag right on their chest. Filipino young military being indoctrinated to overlook the patriotism, the roots, the pain of thousands of years that infest you and your people. I just can't understand it. I will be till the end or the beginning. I will be beholding to you to pay attention and don't allow the plans of your handlers, your Otacon manufacturers, don't let them win. Divide and conquer, that's called the Hegelian dialectic, Hegel's dialectic, divide and conquer. It's the easiest way to circumvent total destruction of a civilization, a country, or a people. You plant information, you plant adversarial tactics on both sides of whatever, Christian, Muslim, radical. You start and foment rebel, federalistic values. You create loyalistas out of everything you can. If you can get a stick with a monkey on the end and it works, they'll do it. I am watching all of you, actors of plastic. I'm being nice. You are an actor of plastic. You should be in the motion pictures of plastic, and you should go for all the awards. I've never seen such a sincere fake group of people in my life like you. I love you. We have a lot in common, but common sense and open eyes and discernment is not part of the in common nature of our soul journeying. My purpose is to be free from lapdog status, lying, biased media, stealing politicians. My purpose is to give the power back to the people. And that power is just for you to be strong and vibrant and have fidelity with your fellow man, social cleansing through not sundrox and scrubbing, but taking time to assess and reorder your life. Make something happen that brings results. You know, you Christians, I used to be one. I don't label myself. I'm John the Immortal, because your Bible says to be absent from the body is to be with the Creator. We don't die. There's not a finality to us. We just move on to better things. In fact, you're more alive when you pass this physical realm. But while you're here, the prerequisite of mechanical life is survival, peace, goodwill, replenishing your species, making babies, taking care of your land, eating from the land, having peace, hard work, a grounded life, not in the world, of the world. Have divine spiritual values. Every human born in the world comes from a divine power of love manifesting in this realm for the purpose of manifestation, a divine manifestation. I watched a preacher talk about the word Yahweh. Okay, he said it's supposed to be said Yahweh in breathing. In other words, the first thing you say is Yahweh, and come on, people. My Creator in my heart, the goodness in my heart, is a product of, number one, the source of my life. Number two, my ability to not be complicated in evil sin. I'm seriously going to take my time and communicate with you in a way that should bear fruit. That is, if you pay attention. I think most of you don't pay attention, though, because I have really communicated since 2016 enough information to have credibility with you concerning almost anything I'll say, especially if it comes from peace and purpose, and my intention is to show you the picture of your life. Who are you to just live and act like everything is serious and real and doing the right thing, but in your heart you know it's not? In your actions you know you failed. Just like the religions and the ways of life on this terra firma, this earth, they all failed. They sustain a repetitive regret and a desire for a hope-driven reality that's rewarded after much suffering and death. Because it's all our fault anyway, right? Well, it is. It is your fault, my fault. It's everybody's fault. Everything you do is a seed time and harvest. It's a reality. It's a delicate balance for some. It's a horrific reality for some. It's a blind bone of ignorance for many. But most people don't know how to go to sleep at night with peace in their heart and their mind. And I'm definitely not one that has total peace. I reached a place in my life where my issues that I was carrying with me, the stress and the pain of many years, I had to let it go, let it go. And I had so much pain and stress and issues I thought were valid, my goal was to reunite the family. And in my mind, in my consciousness, the result of reuniting would be a wonderful reality. We're all older. They have grandkids, nieces and nephews, and the parents are still alive. What a wonderful collective. But since it was a misdirected, misguided, misunderstood lack of courage on one person's part, what I had staged, and I caused much friction with this, I caused much damage, stress-wise. They corporately made a choice to abandon me from a communication standpoint. And I have to accept that. And when I realized what was going on, I felt the weight of the world lifted off of me. The air, everything, the sounds, the thoughts. My reality was so pristine and clear, quiet. The subtleties of life were wonderful. Almost like a drunken state, but not drunk, you know. And then all of a sudden, the grief, it's like somebody died, like the whole family died at one time. That hit me. That was a stress-driven situation. And I did not bow down and succumb to the things I did in the past. I opened my eyes, opened my mind, and I reasoned with myself to succeed with these nonsensical things. And I changed my life. And it's going to take time. 60 years old, 40, 50 years would oh my goodness. Woo. Anyway, you have a country, the Philippines. For all intents and purposes, it is still a territory of the U.S. And if we would dig into the corporate issues and the legalities and the territorial issues, we would find out that if the U.S. forced it, they could probably occupy the Philippines again. I believe that's how it's set up. I'm not sure. But your sovereignty depends on you and you alone. You know, there are people that survive through earthquakes, fires, floods. They just have a sustainable position, and they stand, and they don't get nervous and charged up with emotions. They survive in peace, and they regroup in their strong tower in their community when things pick up. When Yolanda hit, I was busy exposing it as an engineered weather event. I lost a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers, and I watched Western powers create Yolanda. And then I watched Cory Aquino misappropriate funds. There was a whole airport hangar full of rice and full of that rotted. But one community I was close to, right at the center of where Yolanda hit, I had a friend. Her husband, I think her husband was an OFW. I'm not sure. But she was a good friend. We'd talk on a regular basis on Skype. She had a laptop in her bed with her children, and when Yolanda hit, I watched the roof fly off, and I watched her survive, and ironically, the laptop stayed connected, the cell service stayed on, and the next day, people were regrouping, they were rebuilding, they were cleaning the streets, they were doing everything they could. The road had even split. You couldn't move big box store items in too easy. They had to come in through helicopter over different avenues. I was watching people from around the world organize aid. But one thing stuck in my mind. There was a priest that said something in ear's distance. Now, I'm listening to someone on Skype with the generator going and bright sunshine everywhere. Because after Yolanda, it's like nothing happened. It is like everything cleared up and got hot. And man, people were moving around. The priest said, well, the bishop wants to rebuild the church. There was a church, a Spanish-style stucco church. The facade fell off of it. It was almost a total loss. And they were going to put a tent up and start raising money to rebuild the church. And it angered me because he was talking about that. So that lady that I was friends with, her brother was a priest. I said, call your brother. I hung up. I told him something. I contacted him. I said, if they focus their energy, if the parish focuses the energy to rebuild the church before rebuilding the community, I said, you're going to have a real hard time, because I'm gonna put it online. It'll be a disgrace. Just like when the Pope went to Manila. The PNP picked up all the street children and put them in jail. Gave them McAdoo and Jollibee behind the bars. We took care of that too. Pope Francis, poor thing, didn't want to see the children. Well, anyway, it ended up the church and the community got together and they fixed everything. People have choices. People can accept what's happening. They can go with the flow. They can live it and go through a stressful thing, or you can have a clear intention and you can have concise plans and take each step ordained to do the right thing and not waste time, energy. You can regroup and be better than ever. Sometimes it takes disasters, it takes emergencies, it takes death. It takes a shock to make you wake up. It took a shock to make me wake up. I was so stressed by my situation. I went into a grief. I was about to get into depression. It's not my problem. I'm wrong about one thing. I instigated a lot of information, and the person I accused admitted it. Now, what really is the point of contention for me is everybody involved agreed that protecting the one that did the wrong was the best thing to do. I'm alone. It's a big family. Now, in that, I found freedom. I found direction. I found the ability to regroup, and it's better than ever now. My thoughts are clear. I'm not carrying around a bunch of baggage that's crazy. Your politics is foolishness. It's ridiculous. You should start driving for results. When a politician promises you something, you should hold their fire to the feet to the fire. Call them on their lies. Make them obey the same laws you obey, peacefully. Do it with integrity. Have a noble intention. See how I'm talking? I'm talking noble. I'm telling the truth, but I'm doing it in a way that I don't really offend anyone. And if you're offended by what I'm saying, maybe you need to pay attention. I have watched for over a year. I've watched the planning and the musing of these militaristic people stage what's happening to you right now in the Philippines. The saddest thing is, your economy, that's money. I ain't worried about that. All of you, if you had to, you could go back to the land in the province and you could live a good life. No big box stores, no money. You could get rid of that God money and survive. But when your child is missing, when your child is abducted, record numbers of children, you've seen it, missing, left the home, never came back. People, They're creating an enemy. It's the Hegelian dialectic, divide and conquer. Now, if you look at the economic status of the children that are missing, they're all middle class. Aircon, decent school, mom and dad probably have a good job and a car. These children are just plucked. They weren't in the wrong place. They were sought out. That's a list. That's dead. You can't replace that loss. These children are beautiful. Now what happens when you're Malacanang and the militaristic people that you don't really care to research? What happens when they start talking their jabber and they blame a faction like ISIS? They can't blame Mahuti. They can't blame Abu Sharif or NPA, because ironically in the last 2 or 3 years we've managed to share enough information between me, Norm Masagwi, and different people. NPA, Abu Sharif, Mahuti, they pretty much know if they don't do what the Malacanang says they do, or what the biased media says they do, then the people know it's a lie. NPA cut ahead. No. People, stealing and destroying your sovereignty as a human, your value system, your potential to change and not be controllable, is a serious avenue of militaristic planning and assault. Your future depends on how much you can face reality and change. I say actors are plastic. I mean it. Most of you are plastic. Orkan, strong plastic. I mean, bulletproof almost. Too strong, people. You need to be human. You need to have the ability to learn from every mistake. You need to have the ability to walk a path of life that you don't really make mistakes. I make more mistakes from my past, knowing. I used to tell people I operate best under pressure, and that's a lie. Right now I'm valuing how I operate with a peaceful frame of mind, a clear consciousness, a non-stressful reality. It makes everything better. I promise you, if you take and stop your day right now and you start writing down everything you do that you don't really succeed at, make a list. How many things do you do every day that never change? It never brings you a result that you think it should. Well, that's the definition of insanity. Insane. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. How are we supposed to pay attention and learn if our mind is closed? A fake religion, a fake stupid God, a fake ideology, a fake consciousness, a fake value system as human. You're in the world of the world, and most of your spiritual values tell you not to be. But you think you are. Free, grafted in the vine, under the blood. Come on. Blood, and you drink the blood and eat the flesh of that saved you, huh? Organ plastic. It's time to wake up. I believe the most profound statement in the Christian Bible is, in the last days, when you take the scales from your eyes and you open your mind and reason together, you'll do greater things than I did. Well, that means that Savior is not coming back. That was a created Schofield Society, rapture, pre-trib, whatever, post-trib, funded by the Rothschilds, that was a degradation of spiritual values, like magic. Magic was part of life for spiritual values. Alchemy, the stars, seasons, when to plant, when not to plant, what goes good with this. John Dee was the Queen of England's magician. And his origins were from religious circles. Ironically, a lot of the people you think are totally evil came from church. They are the movements around the world that are established. They conquered your freedom as an indigenous person by enslaving you and driving fear in you, stealing, killing, raping, indoctrinating, year after year after year after year. Men with dresses, proclaiming a God that is already in your heart. The real Creator's here, patiently waiting for you to live with the flow of joy and peace and power. Real power. Not kili power. There's no power in your spirituality, but there's dead bones. There are so many martyrs. You know, Cuba is not a martyr. That's an economic issue. That is a safe haven from sin. That is so contentious in the people. Come on. You wonder why they were digging on his compound. People talk. Victims escape. Human trafficking is serious. Rape is serious. Killing people so they don't talk, that's done every day by people. Now, it's not anything but his criminality. That's a separate case from everything. Bong Bong knows he's going out. And I'm telling you now, Sarah and Amy will be the last two Malacanang leaders, presidents, vice president, whatever, that the Philippines will ever see. You're going to see the Malacanang just deconstructed and brought to Davao, actually. Davao will become the governing center of the Philippines for the good of the people. You know, I never could understand why Xi Jinping and Putin and Tete Digong didn't take time to have a round table and say, look, people, this is what's happening. The opium wars brought drugs to China, and Britain, the British crown, brought communism. Xi Jinping, he's more Filipino than you think. He's not what the news says. That's biased media, remember? Everything is a talking head narrative to keep you dumb, to keep you lost, to keep you looking ahead and doing the same thing again, hoping, begging, suffering for the different results. It's not going to change unless you change. Everything, line by line, precept by precept, you have to reverse your life back to nature, back to a divine purpose, immortal position. Your spiritual life in the heavenly realm should match and have continuity with your fleshly realm, and you should be a yielded vessel of producing results. You should be a living example, and you should leave the doctrines and all of that other stuff behind and establish what you know needs to be established. Peace. Peaceful descent from your own pathway to destruction. We don't need to allow a big line to the Taal volcano and they say jump and you go in. You don't do that. You find life. You find harmony and balance. Do no harm. You find a soft answer turning away the wrath of life, and you find the clarity of perception and learning and adjusting pays off. There's nothing wrong with growing your own food and working hard and staying home and spending time with your wife and children, being sincere. There's nothing wrong with developing the character that you have lost. Nothing wrong with you having the honor you should possess. With some hard work and some time, things change fast. A garden, a backyard garden, can feed you in one season, and you can keep it going and never stop. In fact, it produces its own seeds. You can stock up on your seeds. If you do things wisely, your waste, it becomes fertilizer. There's so many things you could do to reconstitute your life. You almost have no footprint of garbage. Our lives right now, we think we're doing good. We think we're in the right way. We think everything's great. It's not. Because honestly, everything in the world that's wrong, it's our fault. Because we have not rendered a decision along the way to start correcting these issues. It starts at home. Just like charity. Charity shouldn't exist. Not organized charity. Societal people helping each other, yeah, that should exist. Every church should have a goal to close. Because your message should be empowering the people to be human, to be divine, to live their manifest destiny. I'm not disgusted. I'm watching all of you as plastic constructed lives. I'm watching you march right to your judgment, your karma. That moment when whatever happens, oh well. I promise you this. The evil in the world does not win. In fact, the evil, most of it follows us. We change everything. We're in the millennial reign. We're beginning 1,000-year reclamation of humans. Line by line, precept by precept, we are learning to be divine creations again. And that's it. It's not the end, it's the beginning. And we do not, most of us won't die. We'll walk right out of this life. Now, they say I'm the eagle of the north. Well, justifiably so, with the power of the internet and lining with the years I spent watching President Duterte and knowing about the evil in the world, like an encyclopedia. I could educate you if you'd listen. If you take your plastic life and purge that flesh, purge that life, get rid of that fakeness, and be real with yourself, you would find direction, peace, and power naturally. You wouldn't have to pray for it, beg for it, or anything. You'd have more than you need, always, and you would be a leader by example. There's nothing wrong with saying no. Somebody comes to you, go earn it, go get your issue. There's something about producing, people. The earth will treat you better. Your life will treat you better when you produce results. You eat less, you party less, you play less, you worry none, and assert yourself to do you. Build your life. That's where they're rooted and grounded. Let your roots go into the ground and find the tap waters of life, the rivers of life. You know, by nature, you're going to live by water. You're going to live by the ability to plant, and you'll do it if you break the cycle of plastic. I'm waiting on all of you to wake up. I'm waiting on all of you to shake up and be real. Change, because if you don't, you really might not have time to change. The only good thing for you is if you pass this life, you're not going to hell or anything. You'll be with the Creator. There's There's no do-overs. There's no second chances right now. There is just you being in the rules that govern your life. Honesty, integrity, hard work, truth. Be set free into the nature of you. Learn to love yourself, forgive yourself, heal. Take time to focus on you. You need to become a strong tower of resources. You need to have the shade for the people under your branches to rest so they can do like you. You need to produce offspring that don't reproduce a generational curse. So, when we ate of the tree of life, it's when we stopped living a natural life. And we started consuming and lusting and blah, 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 you know. And that's because you took the divine creator here, you put a name on him and a fear and a bunch of laws and rules, and you put it there somewhere in a box. And you go to that box. Some of you say you do and you don't. Oh, I'm praying for you. You don't even pray. So, be real. Respect me. Respect President Duterte. Respect yourself. Respect Maharlika, the motherland, the cradle of civilization. Bring a renaissance of change so you can help Sarah, Amy. You can help those that are willing to govern with grace and authority to be you, like you. Because you're going to be an example for the world to see of peace, clarity, and purpose. We need to make sure that the Philippines doesn't get dragged into a war. You had an issue with Coast Guard. The media lied. Media lied. They said that China did some things bad, but no, China saved Philippine fishermen. That should make you turn the television off. Okay? Now, remember people like Farrah Bunch. Remember that Filipina doctor? She was leading people to a natural homeopathic life with diets, not symptomatic cures, but guidance, education. The DOH stormed in her office with black uniforms on. They looked like ISIS. They kicked her out the country. Took her computers and everything because she didn't have normal number statistics of people dying of cancer. She had 3 million people on Facebook following her, and she was educating one at a time. And they went and they said that was wrong. People, and you didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing. She had to come back to the United States with her husband. Right now, I'm telling you the truth. You're fixing to see a conflict that's going to cost the whole South, from Davao to Zimbabwe. The assets that were there in Iraq and Afghanistan, Blackwater, BlackRock, military contractors, the richest company in the world, is entrenched in the Philippines, ready to go. And you don't care. You don't care. And when it starts happening, I'm going to focus on other things, and I'll just peek in once in a while and see how you are. We can stop this. And it comes by you not being plastic. So, help me help you. Be you. Be who the Creator created you to be. And I promise you don't know who that is. Because you're too busy in the world. Doing the same thing over and over again. Expecting different results. That's insanity. Because the ways that you choose to live are foreign from your natural order and your manifest destiny. The Creator's here. The divinity the divinity within you is more than enough to sustain you, heal you, guide you, give you the peace, give you the solace, give you everything you need to go forward. So why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? I'm not being sacrilegious. Religion belongs in a sack. I'm being a man of purpose. I'm being a man that's teachable. I'm being a man that should show you daily a change. And I'm doing it. So, of those of you that I've been talking to, if I've mentioned stepping in and being part of a round table, shame on you for not contacting me. Shame on you. Those of you that are close to me, sending me messages on a regular basis, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just a man that refuses to be a martyr. If you want to have all the truth in your life and you want to be a coward and not have any action, be my guest. I won't insult you. There's nothing I can do for you because it's your deal. It's your issue. It's like your plastic. It burns, right? We need to get right, people. Nobody's going to save us. We have to save ourselves. And the truth is, when you're anointed and you're free in deed and action, they can't do nothing to you.